Welcome to Little English Studio, where history, culture, and the wonders of our world come alive through English storytelling. If you love exploring mysterious places while improving your English, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Today, we journey into the eerie waters off Nagasaki, Japan, to uncover the chilling story of one of the most haunted and fascinating islands in the world, Hashima, also known as Gunkanjima, the Battleship Island. Imagine sailing through Nagasaki Bay. The sea glitters under the sun, waves slap gently against the boat, and fishing villages dot the coastline. But as you head further out, something strange begins to rise on the horizon. At first, it looks like a gray warship, massive and imposing, floating silently on the sea. But as you draw closer, its true identity reveals itself. It is not a ship. It is an island covered in towering concrete blocks, crumbling walls, and empty windows that stare back at you like hollow eyes. This is Hashima, known to locals as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island. Today, it is a ruin. The concrete is cracked, staircases collapse into nothingness, and the sea wind whistles through shattered glass. But decades ago, this was a thriving city, a vertical metropolis packed with thousands of workers and their families. Some call it a marvel of industrial history. Others whisper that it is cursed, haunted by the restless spirits of those who suffered here. But one thing is certain. Hashima is unlike anywhere else on Earth. To understand why Hashima exists, we must travel back to the late 19th century, during the Meiji Restoration. Japan had just emerged from centuries of isolation. Determined to compete with the Western world, the government launched an ambitious program of modernization and industrialization. Coal was the fuel that powered this transformation. It drove steamships, trains, and factories. And beneath the seabed near Nagasaki lay enormous reserves of high-quality coal. In 1881, the Mitsubishi Corporation purchased Hashima and began mining operations. At first, only a small workforce lived there, but as demand for coal grew, so did the island. Seawalls were built to protect it from typhoons. More land was reclaimed from the sea. Concrete apartment blocks rose from the ground. By the early 20th century, Hashima was booming. Hashima was tiny, only 480 meters long and 150 meters wide, about the size of a few city blocks. Yet at its peak in 1959, it housed over 5,000 residents. That made it one of the most densely populated places in the world. Because there was no space to expand outward, the island grew upward. In 1916, Japan's first reinforced concrete high-rise was built here. Soon, the skyline was filled with tall, gray buildings, stacked with tiny apartments. Life on Hashima was a strange mix of normality and confinement. There were schools, a kindergarten, shops, restaurants, a cinema, even a swimming pool. Children played in narrow alleys, families attended movies on weekends, and workers gathered in bathhouses after long shifts underground. But privacy was rare. Most families lived in cramped rooms, often just a few tatami mats wide. Fresh water was shipped from the mainland and carefully rationed. The ocean surrounded everyone, reminding them daily that there was no escape except by boat. And then there were the mines. To reach the coal, miners descended deep beneath the seabed. Shafts plunged hundreds of meters below sea level. The air was hot and heavy, the tunnels narrow and suffocating. Men worked long shifts in near darkness, their bodies drenched in sweat, always at risk of collapse or gas explosion. Coal dust filled their lungs, shortening lifespans. Yet for many, the wages were decent, and Hashima offered steady work when jobs were scarce elsewhere. Families endured the hardships, believing it was worth it. But not everyone came willingly. During World War II, Japan's hunger for coal only intensified. To meet demands, Mitsubishi used forced labor. Thousands of Korean and Chinese men were brought to Hashima against their will. They worked under brutal conditions: long hours, poor food, harsh discipline, and dangerous environments. Many died from exhaustion, accidents, or malnutrition. For decades, this dark chapter was ignored. But as survivors began speaking out, the island's reputation grew darker. Hashima became not just a ghost town, but a symbol of suffering, a place haunted not only by abandonment, but by memory. By the 1960s, the world was changing. Oil was replacing coal as the main source of energy. Across Japan, coal mines closed. In 1974, Mitsubishi shut down operations on Hashima. Within weeks, the entire population left. What had been a buzzing vertical city suddenly fell silent. Residents abandoned belongings, toys, shoes, school books, furniture. Time seemed to freeze. Nature crept back. Plants sprouted through cracks, roofs collapsed under typhoon winds, saltwater corroded steel. The once proud Battleship Island became a skeleton in the sea. For decades, Hashima was off limits. The seawalls and crumbling buildings were dangerous. Boats passed by, but few dared to land. From a distance, it looked like a warship ready for battle, eerie, silent, imposing. Stories circulated that it was cursed, that ghosts roamed the empty apartments, that the island itself resisted visitors. Photographers and adventurers risked illegal landings to capture its haunting beauty. Images of empty classrooms, rusting playgrounds, and corridors filled with debris spread across the world. Hashima had become a modern ruin, a real-life ghost city. In the 2000s, Japan began restoring limited access to Hashima. A safe landing pier and walking route were built for tourists. In 2009, the island was opened to the public for the first time in 35 years. In 2015, Hashima was recognized as part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Sites of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution. But this recognition was controversial. South Korea and China objected, arguing that Japan had not properly acknowledged the suffering of forced laborers. Eventually, Japan agreed to include historical explanations, but the debate continues. Hashima's ghostly appearance captured the imagination of filmmakers and artists. It appeared in documentaries, video games, and most famously in the 2012 James Bond film Skyfall. In the movie, Bond is taken to a villain's lair set on a deserted island. Though filmed on a set, the design was inspired directly by Hashima's ruins. Suddenly, millions around the world knew of the Battleship Island. Tourism boomed. Visitors came not only for history, but also for the eerie thrill of walking through a ghost city in the sea. Even today, Hashima feels unsettling. Standing on the tour walkway, you hear the wind howl through broken windows. You see staircases leading nowhere, doors hanging from rusted hinges, and apartments filled with silent belongings. Locals whisper that spirits remain, miners who perished underground, forced laborers who never found peace, children who once laughed in the alleys. At night, some claim the island glows faintly, as if memories themselves refuse to die. Engineers debate whether Hashima can be preserved or whether the sea will eventually claim it. Concrete crumbles each year. Without constant maintenance, the ghost island may slowly dissolve back into the ocean. But whether ruin or restored, Hashima endures as a powerful symbol of ambition and suffering, progress and decay, memory and silence. Thank you for joining Little English Studio on this haunting journey. From its rise as an industrial powerhouse to its fall into ghostly silence, Hashima, the ghost island of Japan, remains one of the most mysterious places on Earth. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more amazing landmarks and legends while improving your English, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you won't miss the next adventure. This is Little English Studio, where history and language come alive. See you in the next story.